for a kid that, had so much difficulty at the beginning of his life. He's made me so proud, and I know he makes his family so proud. And he, I have a vision for our life together, and I know this is just the beginning, and he's gonna accomplish so many things. And just getting to know his heart over these past 4.5 years, he's just such a good man, and he's gonna do great things.
So the disease I had was called acute post-infectious encephalitis, and what that basically is an inflammation of the brain. And the way it affected me took a toll on my anxiety. It created a separation anxiety to where I really couldn't be away from my mother for any extended period of time, or I would just kind of be thrown into an anxiety attack or like an outburst of rage.
The way we found out he was sick was December of 2001, first week of December, he was sick with a fever. Just sort of a fever that didn't want to go away, lasted for a week, didn't have any other symptoms, but was sick enough not to go to school. He tried to go back to school. He just became extremely anxious. Suddenly he didn't want us leaving him, or me leaving him in particular, literally having to have the teachers pull him off of me to get there. And of course, about an hour or so later, they would call and say that, he's just not able to handle it. Outburst of anger started happening around that time, where he would just start screaming fit and hitting, not to hurt, but just hitting. And called the doctor the next day, asked him, is there anything we can do? And he said, well, we probably need to get him to see a psychiatrist. And we were saying, we really want an MRI done. We think there's something going on in his brain. And she said, well, she kept sort of putting us off and saying, well, even though there's not family history of psych disorders, it still could be that. And she put him on some medication, and he just got, unfortunately, more out of control. And we called her back, and they told us to take him to the behavioral health hospital here in Greensboro, and we did. And they admitted him overnight because he was acting very differently than he'd ever acted before. And of course, that's not a time I like to think about, but he did stay that night. He had to stay by himself. We couldn't stay with him. And it was the worst night of my life, and I know of his dad's life too. But the one good thing that came from it is we got the MRI done the next day. And that's when we found out finally that he had encephalitis.
During this whole time I was going through this, I had no idea what was happening to me, and I came to this point in my life where everything was going on fine, and then something happened and my whole life has changed. And I didn't know how to progress from that. I didn't know what was going on, and so it was definitely a really scary time.
Yeah, we had lots of concerns and fears about what his teenage years would be like, whether he would be able to, in fact, first couple of years I wasn't sure if he was ever going to go back to school, because we ended up having to have a homebound teacher, and we slowly got him back into school, but we still weren't sure. It was just the uncertainty of not knowing, will he ever be able to make it all the way through school. And he has just totally surpassed all that we ever expected.
We've been dating for 4.5 years now, and it seems like each year he just challenges himself. He doesn't just settle for the average. He went to Hawaii for a summer, and that was incredible, although I didn't like it at the moment. He has gone to Spain, and he flew over and proposed, and he's done amazing things, and it's just such a testament of God's plan for his life.
I'm excited to see what the future holds for him with starting a new job somewhere, graduating, of course, first, and then getting married in September. He amazes me on his faith and how he relies on his belief in Jesus and how he uses his talents for the Lord. I just to know that, wow, just about 15 years ago, I wasn't sure if that was ever going to happen, and he's just again outshone himself, and God has just done a beautiful work in him.
His parents didn't know, let alone if you could finish elementary school. So for him to come this far and attend a 4-year school, at an amazing university, it's just, it's going to be a really special moment seeing him at graduation.